If you're thinking about relocating to southern Maine, homes around the $1 million price point are becoming extremely common, especially in towns like Falmouth. So today I'm walking through a property here on Hardy Road in Falmouth, currently listed at $1 million, and I'm going to break down whether I think this home is actually worth it. Not just the house itself, but the location, the lifestyle, the long-term value, and who this home really makes sense for. Because if you're relocating to Maine and you're looking in that $900,000 to $1.2 million range, these are exactly the kinds of homes you're going to see. So first, let's talk about where we are, because with Maine real estate, the location often matters just as much as the house itself. This home sits in Falmouth, Maine, which is one of the most desirable towns just outside of Portland. You're about 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Portland, depending on traffic, which makes it extremely appealing for people relocating here who want access to the city but don't necessarily want to live in the city. Falmouth is also known for a few things: great schools, beautiful natural surroundings, golf courses, country clubs, and coastal access, and a really nice balance between privacy and convenience. This particular property sits on a private lot on a quiet dead-end road, which is something a lot of buyers relocating from larger metro areas really appreciate. You still get proximity to everything, shopping, restaurants, and the turnpike, but you don't feel like you're in the middle of suburban congestion. That combination is one of the reasons Falmouth continues to hold value extremely well. Now let's talk about the property itself. This home was built in 2015, so it's relatively modern compared to a lot of the housing stock in southern Maine. It's a colonial style home with a really classic New England exterior, clean lines, neutral siding, and a traditional front porch that works beautifully with the surrounding landscape. This lot is just over a half acre, about 0.62 acres, and it's nicely landscaped and fairly level, which is ideal for families, outdoor entertaining, or just, having some breathing room between neighbors. One of the things I really like about this property is that it abuts conservation land, which means you're not going to suddenly have a new development popping up behind you. The kitchen has a large island, a gas range, a walk-in pantry, which is one of those features people always say that they want but often don't find in older homes. The home offers about 3,300 square feet of finished space if you include the finished basement. On the main level, the layout is very much what buyers today are looking for: an open concept kitchen design that connects the dining area and living room. This type of layout works really well for both everyday living and entertaining. The living room has a really comfortable vibe and feel to it. There's a gas fireplace and a built-in cabinetry, which adds a little bit of architectural character while still keeping the room modern and functional. You also get a lot of natural light throughout this space, which makes the whole first floor feel bright and open. It's one of those spaces where you can easily imagine both quiet evenings and larger gatherings. The overall flow of the first floor just works really well. You can cook, entertain, relax, and still feel connected throughout the space. Right off the main living area, there's also a private den or office space, which is extremely useful if you're working remotely. And that's something I see a lot with relocation buyers right now. They're moving here because they can work from anywhere. So having that dedicated workspace is so important. Let's head upstairs. Up here, you have 4 bedrooms and 2 full baths, which makes this a really strong layout for families or anyone who needs multiple bedrooms and guest space. The primary suite is actually positioned above the garage, which gives it a little bit of separation from the other bedrooms. And it's a really nice retreat. We have 2 walk-in closets, which is something buyers always love. And the primary bathroom includes a double vanity and beautifully finished tiled shower area. Another feature I always appreciate seeing is second floor laundry, am I right? The other 3 bedrooms are all really good sized as well. So this level really works well whether you have kids, guests, or even want to use one of the rooms as another office or hobby space. Now let's head up on the 3rd level. There's an unfinished walk-up attic, which gives the next owner potential for future expansion if they ever needed additional living space. Now let's talk about the lower level. The home has a finished walkout basement, which adds a really flexible bonus living space. This could easily function as a media room, a home gym, or a playroom, or even a secondary entertaining space. Because it's a walkout basement, you get natural light down here as well, which makes the space feel a lot less like a typical basement. That kind of flexibility is always a positive when thinking about long-term ownership. It was a little too snowy to go outside, but the home really embraces outdoor living. You have a classic farmer's porch in the front, which is honestly one of my favorite architectural details on New England homes. Outdoor spaces like this extend the living experience of the home quite a bit. So let's talk about the big question. At $1 million, is this home actually worth it? For Falmouth, this price point is honestly pretty consistent with the market right now. You're getting a newer construction home, over 3,000 square feet of living space, 4 bedrooms, a finished basement, a private lot near conservation land, and a location that is just minutes from Portland. When you look at all those factors together, the pricing here feels fairly aligned with what buyers are paying in this town. Falmouth tends to hold value well because of its school system, location, and overall desirability. So, for a long term perspective, homes like this often perform well. So, would I buy this home at this price? If someone relocating to southern Maine asked me whether this should be on their list, I would absolutely say yes, especially if they're looking for a balance between privacy, space, and proximity to Portland. This is the kind of property that really represents the southern Maine lifestyle well. If you're exploring different towns around Portland and trying to figure out which area actually fits your lifestyle and budget, that's something I can talk about a lot here on this channel. And if you're relocating to southern Maine and want clarity before making a decision, my contact info is in the description below. Thanks for coming along on the tour. It also gives you access to nearby hiking and biking trails, which is something that people moving to Maine often prioritize. That sense of connection to nature is a big part of the lifestyle here.